Alright guys, so in this video I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag in 2022. Now if you've watched the other videos on the Assassin's Creed series, then you may be wondering why I've started playing this game before 3. And that's basically just because it doesn't really matter what one you play first with these two games. Like, there isn't some major key event that I would have missed. From what I've heard, you don't need to know anything before Black Flag, so there isn't any effect. Now this is mainly because it's a whole new world and character and theme. That's also another reason why I played it first, because it's so different to the usual Assassin theme, like in the ones before. So they of course merged the pirates with the assassins and balanced it really well, because some people may have been like, oh, it's not going to feel like Assassin's Creed, it won't live up to the name with the whole pirate aspect, but they actually did it really well. I'll talk about that more later on. But I also feel like I just wanted something different and new, whereas Assassin's Creed 3 is still your normal assassin typed game. But I definitely will play it straight after this, and the rest will most likely be in actual order. Because Black Flag was going for really cheap, and I thought I'd get it because 3 wasn't really available for that sort of price at the time. But without further ado, let's actually jump into Assassin's Creed Black Flag and talk about my impressions of the game and if you should buy it in present day. If you're excited, then hit that like button down below, and you can even subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you'd like to watch more Assassin's Creed and gaming and G Fuel videos, let's go. Now I'm actually going to start off by talking about the gameplay of the game, and when I do eventually go on to talk about the story, it will actually be spoiler free, as I've realised that if this is a review of the game and I'm saying if you should play it, then people are obviously not going to want the story being told before they play it. Now, in fact, the overall gameplay hasn't really drastically been improved. However, that doesn't mean it's bad. I personally think the gameplay and the combat was fine anyway, so it's a really fun and satisfying like always. And due to me not playing 3 yet, it feels like such a smoother mechanic and flows so much better in sword fights, as you can see by the gameplay on screen, as well as cooler slow-mo animations that they added, of course still including the chain assassinations and like the double executions that were great in the previous games, so I'm glad that's been kept in. I'm not sure why they would remove it anyway. There is a lot of new types of swords that I noticed compared to 3, as I wanted to look up online what weapons were changed. So they introduced the dual wielding swords, of course, which were really early on in the game actually. I honestly thought they would wait a bit to show it off, but it's literally in the first sword fight you get into in the game at the start. Of course the muskets as well, which I'm pretty sure are only available from picking them up off rooftop guards and stuff and other people, but it's cool that you actually get to try them out. Unlike the other games, it wouldn't really make sense to have it in your actual inventory. The pistols also had some variety where you can use a total of 4 at one time, which is crazy. Very different to the Ezio collection, which is only 1 that you can use, and they're really fun and fairly easy as well. It's quite easy to take people down with them because of the overall, strong damage that they do. What I found really interesting and varied was the amount of sword types that you can actually use and choose from, which actually perform differently due to their stats. And the designs, of course, they look incredible. Ubisoft always nail it, and I feel like they've nailed that aspect of the pirates to me anyway. And not only the swords, but the wide variety of pistol types as well that you can choose from, as well as the stealth being pretty good and flowing well in the game. I didn't really feel like it was way better than the Ezio collection. They're kind of borderline, if not the Ezio collection being better in terms of it, I feel, which is interesting. I also didn't notice any clunky movements or bugs when performing stealth, or at least it wasn't really that major. What they also focused on was more ways to kind of hide yourself in the stealth missions and actually be sneaky, like being able to kind of sneak and crouch walk in bushes, not actually crouch, which is, I think people kind of wanted a crouch button in the game. That would be good, but you can kind of hide in the bushes where they actually can't see you, unlike the earlier games, which is pretty much just a haystack, for example, and you couldn't move about in it. So it made the stealth slightly more fun to me. I think this was probably the biggest improvement in the stealth, and it creates a nice balance between fighting and stealth. They even made the gadgets and tools better, with still including the smoke bombs as well as adding darts. Once again, just adding a wider range of weaponry to the game, as I've been talking about. And you can actually upgrade the gadgets as well to make them even better. I guess this can also encourage more players to physically go around the map and find different materials and parts to, of course, upgrade your stuff. Just once again added more content to the game. It makes me want to kind of explore the map more to actually progress and improve like the fighting experience really. And the main town areas of Kingston, for example, is structured really well for the parkour aspect of the game, with how the buildings are designed and the architecture and what different ledges you can jump onto when parkouring over rooftop areas. The same with the city of Havana, which I think is my favourite in the game, which because of how the layout of the buildings are, it makes a very fun and fast-paced parkour experience. The movement feels slick and involves great animations as well. With it being a pirate theme, what better way to introduce the ship mechanics where you can actually explore the ocean of the game and encounter many different naval combat missions where you fight with cannons and mortars against other ships. I really enjoyed using them, and the game offers a wide selection of appearance customization for your ship as well, and then many more upgrades for the weaponry of course, and being able to repair certain parts as well. Then also the ability to obtain other ships to find resources. There's tons of things you can do with the system, and it was a great way to introduce the mechanic, especially with it being a pirate theme, and I didn't think there would be this much to start off with really. Obviously this is actually carried over in AC Odyssey and Valhalla later in the series, so overall there's so many fun and different styles of missions to do that were really interactive, and I had a really wild time playing through them. Like I generally did feel like a pirate in the game. Like some of those naval missions, they got me feeling like Jack Sparrow. Like I can't lie. Then with the odd stealth mission that luckily there's a slight increase in things to do, which this also does include many tailing missions, even in the early parts of the game, but so far that seems like a running theme in all of the games that I've played, and although they can drag on and become kind of boring, I think I'll just have to get used to it, although I don't get why they add so much, especially in this game. Like you just follow a person or another ship around. But even from the first opening mission I could tell that it was going to be a really fun experience because of how much new things there are to do, and as well as it being a whole new theme to go with the assassin style. And then of course we can't not talk about the world of the game and the map. With it being set in the Caribbean, there's so much to explore in terms of different islands and cities, but what better way to explore than on a ship and sailing through the huge oceans, which just look so majestic because of how blue and clear the ocean is. The nature and the cities, they all look so vibrant and colourful compared to the last games. I feel it literally looks like they've put like a vivid filter on the game. It was so different to the others that I've played so far. It's the first one where they experimented with merging another world into it, and then of course from then on there's been loads of them. And now I'm going to talk a bit about the story to end off the review, the character of Edward Kennedy, but like I said, it won't be involving any spoilers, so you're okay. So it also might not go on for that long, because there's no spoilers and not really much to talk about. I just want to give my thoughts. Now what I loved about the story and how they portrayed it well is of course the balance that I mentioned earlier of an Assassin's game and a pirate game, with still the focus on the core theme of the Assassins and the Templars, giving us a plot of the pirate life and how it changes throughout the game, to by the end of it, learning to be an assassin, actually becoming one, making the story really immersive and enjoyable. It sits on a high pedestal for many people in the community. It's of course different to the earlier games, as you are already an assassin in them, therefore making it work really well, whereas that's what people kind of dislike about the more recent RPG style games that don't feel like an Assassin's Creed due to the lack of authenticity and how they just add a hidden blade to a Viking and kind of call it a day. Then there's the character of Edward Kenway, I think I said Kennedy before, I don't know why, which even from the first voice line, for some reason I knew he was going to be great and showed a lot of personality throughout the game with a lovable characteristic to players. And the voice actor of Matt Ryan, who is Welsh, so it's close to home for me, which is cool. I think that's going to wrap it up for the 22 review of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend picking it up in 2022 if you haven't already played it. Of course it's a popular game in the franchise like I said, and I think you'll have a lot of fun because I know I did. I would appreciate it if you liked the video, if you enjoyed it, or even leave a comment, as these videos do tend to take a lot longer to create. Either way, your support to the channel in any way is extremely appreciated, so thank you. There you go. Bye bye.